Will Commissioner Lister please lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance?
I will, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Please join me for a prayer. Heavenly Father, we live and move and have our very being in you and in the world that you have created and are creating. In all that we say and do, keep us aware of the need to ask how this affects the world around us. Keep us from forgetting that your creative energy is alive and active in the world today, bringing life and hope that flies in the face of death and despair. In this time of discussion about the realities of today and the possibilities of tomorrow, help us all be people of hope. Open us to the promise that all will be well. May this commission be blessed by your presence. May they who meet here be blessed with your wisdom, and may the city of Madeira Beach be blessed with your hope. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will City Clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Mayor Black,
Present.
Vice Mayor Douthat,
Present.
Commissioner Hodges,
Here.
Commissioner Oakley,
Here.
Commissioner Lister.
Here.
Next, we have approval of the minutes. I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval.
Madam Mayor, before I do that, on November the 7th, on the interview for City Attorney Ralph Brooks, I think there was a line in it that called him or her. If we could just make that amendment, that would be fantastic. Thank you, City Clerk.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I so move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Any comments from the commission? Will City Clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Lister,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Douthat,
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley,
Yes.
Mayor Black.
Yes. Next, I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Madam Mayor, if I may, before we do that, I just want to bring to the forefront that the agendas that I get on my front porch on Thursday or Friday are somewhat different from what I've gotten on the dais today. And it's probably my fault that I'm not as active as I should be to get down here and pick up my mail. But I'm not prepared as far as to vote on this wireless microphone. I'm going to okay the agenda, and I'm sure it's going to pass. But that being said, I'm not versed on everything that I should be versed on. And again, I will take responsibility, and I will try to keep a better time about seeing if the agenda changed. I'm not sure. When did you get this? When did everybody get this?
Today.
Today.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you. All right. That being said, thank you.
And I would like to pull the dumpsters off of the consent agenda. I just don't feel right spending money on consent agenda.
Okay.
So can we pull the wireless microphones off, or are we using them tonight, or can I get just a little more information about it?
Let me explain.
We talked about the wireless microphones at the last meeting, which was a workshop,
Right.
pretty extensively. It's council's desire to go to more of a workshop setting with tables.
And I hate to interrupt you, sir, but council is not, we're a commission. Just call it a commission, please. I'm a commissioner, I'm not a councilman.
Okay.
Thank you. It was the commission's desire to go ahead and do it?
It's the commission's desire to go ahead with tables in a workshop type setting that we had just recently. And we had Network come in. We have an AV specialist with them who recommended these to fit the sound system and the sound, and it matches up to the equipment that's in our room there, our AV room, that picks up the sound of the meeting.
And again, Mr. Finance Director, that's just the first time I've heard that. That's all I'm saying.
We discussed it in the last.
I know we discussed it, doing it, but it wasn't that this matches up perfectly to our equipment. I didn't get any of that information.
Okay.
Okay.
But it was recommended.
I know you had meetings with them, but I certainly haven't.
It was recommended They've looked at a couple of options. This one was the least expensive. We looked at a hardwired system down there with the microphones, and it would probably be over $20,000 to do that. The idea that's good about these is that these are movable, and we can relocate them. There's 4 of them. And again, what's being recommended based on our infrastructure and picking up the sound of the meetings in a proper manner.
I understand. I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot more when it comes up. Thank you very much for that information.
I would like a motion then for the, go ahead.
I have, if we're going to take the dumpsters off of the consent agenda,
Just move them as new business.
yes, but we need to buy the dumpsters.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Otherwise,
I'll just put them under new business. I just don't like spending it on a consent. We need to discuss it. I
Okay,
thought,
as long as we're getting dumpsters, because I got yelled at this morning. Thanks.
Well, that's nothing new.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Okay. Second?
I'll second it.
Any comments from the commission? Staff? City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Oakley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Downford,
Yes.
Mayor Black,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges,
Yes.
Commissioner Lister,
No.
Next, we have a presentation from the Pinellas County Transportation.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor, that was mine. I have Tom Washburn, engineer with traffic design with Pinellas County, and also John Lemonis with the Transportation Division. We have been going back and forth, or not going back and forth. We've been working with the county for probably 6 months now. You got put in front of you earlier, a few minutes ago, some information which was a letter from St. Pete Beach. This letter has been sent to Pinellas County from me. What this does is it's taking the traffic control, well, I'm gonna let the county explain what this does.
Good evening, welcome.
Senior Engineer with Pinellas County Public Works.
If you guys could get right down to them, or use the handheld mic, it's probably easier. Thank you.
Is this better?
Is it on?
Is it on?
Yes.
Sorry. Again, good evening. My name is Tom Washburn. I'm a senior engineer with the Pinellas County Public Works. This is John Lemonius. He's a manager of our intelligent transportation system with Pinellas County Public Works. Really what we want to talk to you about tonight is the contracts that you currently have with the county to maintain your traffic signals and your street lighting, specifically those that are on the state roads. So those are the signals and the street lights that the DOT owns. By contract annually, they send each of the cities a contract for maintenance of the signals and the street lights. All of the cities except for St. Pete and Clearwater in turn have a contract with Pinellas County to perform that maintenance service for you. A couple of the local municipalities recently have approached the county about kind of cutting that middle effort out and simply having the county contract directly with the state. So that's kind of what we're here to talk about. Those are the documents you have in front of you. Again, it's specifically for the signals along the state roads. So within the city of Madeira Beach, you're talking about, I think it's 6 devices, combination of your traffic signals, the RRFB crossings that you have out on Gulf Boulevard, those devices that you, again, the DOT pays you to maintain and you in turn pay us to maintain.
We are, I'd like to just add to this that the only signals that we do have are on state roads. Also, this is something that they've been performing for us for many years. This is really to streamline this and to improve those response times, and improve the system as a whole, and take us out of the middle of it.
Just a quick question. Going forward, I know we've had some discussions in the past in the city of Madeira Beach to add some signals in specific areas. Would you happen to do that, or are you just going to maintain what's here and never have any input with FDOT saying we should get a signal here? How much pull are you going to have?
Again, we're the maintenance entity. DOT still owns the state roads. They still have the final authority as to what new devices are out there. We can certainly assist with making recommendations. We do assist the DOT with evaluations, but ultimately they make the decision on the state roads.
I know, again, as we undergrounded some of the Gulf Boulevard out here, I think 150th to 153rd, we put up digital lights. That's not the case going further down. Is there going to be any issues with the two different types of lights, or?
We're actually, we award on Tuesday, excuse me, guys, for new signals and new pavement. So there'll be new mast arms, pavement, that'll be starting, it'll be after spring break, but.
Is that
But
going
yes,
through
that's-
Mark Garcia? Is that going through that company, or is this going through?
This is through CPWG and a separate project. But
Okay.
they take care of they do all the maintenance on our lights. And I now have met them and have a relationship, so I'll pester them to help us
With the lights?
with the lights and anything else moving forward.
Because after the meeting last time, Mark got up and spoke. I called him and asked him about some of the just holiday decorations that were not being lit, that we had put up. You know, I go down the road and I count them. I don't, my wife does, but
Right.
I got to deal with her.
I'm on it.
She wants to know why they're not lit. And
They're
I
gonna
called
be
Mark,
lit.
I said, Mark, do you deal with that end of it? He said, I can, but I don't know, where they should. And I'm just asking, who's got the ball?
That's us.
Who's got the ball?
I'm the Christmas lights.
Okay, all right. But I remember 5 years ago when we came through this discussion about Christmas lights, that Duke Energy or Forward Power, I'm not sure who it was at the time, would not let us climb the pole and fix the,
That's still
The
the
plug.
case, but I get the ball rolling.
okay, all right.
We make the stuff.
I know you got a lot of balls up in the air, and I appreciate it. And, I'm not a big county fan. Let me go with that. Everybody knows that knows me at all. And, I just, if it can be done local, I try to get it done local. But I understand that we can save money here, and probably do a better job because we are not thinly staffed, but we have a small staff.
This definitely saves us staff time.
Yeah.
It saves us money.
Yeah, and
Time is
that's
money.
that's a key. Again, I just don't want to keep giving stuff away. Obviously, we sold our sewer system to the county 15 years ago, and it was a good deal for us. So, we may owe you one.
This is something they've been doing all along, though,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, thank you,
Yes, sir.
David. I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
That was really the extent. We're really here just to answer any questions you may have.
That's all I heard. That's good for me.
Otherwise, staff recommendation is for approval of this.
Is this something we need to take a vote on?
I believe. Absolutely, yes.
Oh, okay. All right, then, is there any,
How long is the contract for? I'm sorry, Madam Mayor.
It's renewed annually.
Renewed annually? Any way we can make it longer, or you guys just don't want to?
That's the DOT standard.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
any more discussion from the board? The floor is now open for public comment on this agenda item. Floor is now closed. Now I'll entertain a motion to accept the proposal.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that this commission transfer the FDOT signals and street lighting to Pinellas County from Madeira Beach.
A second.
Any more comments from commission, staff? City clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister,
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Downthard,
Yes.
Mayor Black.
Yes. So, there we go.
Thank you very much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Appreciate it.
Next, under the dais log, we have the purchase of wireless microphones, system from Network People. Director Pierce?
Again, Mayor and Commissioners, we did discuss this at a previous workshop that the the board like to have more of a workshop-type setting, and these microphones would fit that purpose. And this was the most inexpensive option that was provided to us.
What was the most expensive one?
I think probably about $30,000, and it was more of a permanent fixture, which we really don't want. We want something that's movable.
So we can use it in the other meeting rooms, et cetera?
Yes.
I'm not quite sure what the bid committee does, because I know we voted on that to create a bid committee. Was the bid committee given any bids on this at all?
No, this is just a recommendation from our network people and our AV rep who helps us with the sound system in this room. So we do have a contract, an AV contract with network people. They are the professionals, and we do take their advice and their recommendation.
I know that Commissioner Oakley's been trying to get that changed in the recent past. Are you good with these people, or is this the network people you're?
I would like to see some other quotes. I think this is, I think this is just a really high quote.
Absolutely. I'm good with, take it to the bid committee. Let's give them some work. See what happens.
Yeah, I agree. We do need to get some more quotes, because that is an awfully large number
For just a
for
speaker.
what we're doing.
Thank you.
If you'd like us to put that on the next workshop, we'll be happy to do that for you.
I think that'd be great. Thank you. All right, next we have public comment. The floor is now open. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Steve Rayo. I live at 557 Crystal Drive. First, I want to say how moved I was by tonight's invocation. It was sincere and to the point, and it moved me greatly. In fact, Madam Mayor and Commissioner Oakley, I want to say to both of you how much I enjoyed having you with me on the judge's boat at the parade, Veterans Day parade.
Well, thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
It was a pleasure to have you there. In past meetings, many of us in this community made a variety of statements that were very caustic, some of them, and hard-lined on both sides. I can only make an excuse for myself that these comments were not made out of malice or hatred. And I hope that all here in Madeira Beach feel the same way. But they are motivated by a desire that the city have the best that we can afford and the best that the Commission can offer us in service with integrity, with honesty, with ethically motivated results. So in that, I have only to say, let us all pray, as did Terry tonight, that we can move forward for not what's best for individuals, but for all of the citizens and the administration of the government of Madeira Beach. Thank you.
Next. Go ahead.
Robert Preston. Robert Preston, 425 South Bayshore Drive, Madeira Beach. Kind of tough to follow that one. But I do want to make a comment on what you said at the workshop session about having Mr. Lister, Commissioner Lister, and Commissioner Hodges resign. Totally uncalled for. They are the ones that have done the best for the city at this point in time, trying to counteract your efforts, which is difficult. So I am in full support of both you two and hope you succeed in the following years. Thank you for your service. Next, I really want to thank you three for every time you do something that is contrary to good judgment, every time you hire, fire, let somebody go, or people have quit that you've hired and then got rehired many times. Every time these meetings are dysfunctional, and events like when you asked Mr. Lister, Mrs. Hodges, to resign, you provide Respect Mad Beach with more signatures for the petition. So I want to thank you all for your efforts, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Hello. My name is Deborah Rogowski, 17117 Gulf Boulevard. I'm here because I love Madeira Beach and I want to support District 1 Commissioner Terry Lister and District 2 Commissioner Nancy Hodges. I have attended church and community service organizations with them both. They love Madeira Beach and have proven themselves honorable and knowledgeable. They can have their name Googled and only good things pop up. What is happening now, I find, happened in 2011 when the city manager, finance director, community service public works director, community development director, and the human resources director either quit or were fired, and it sounds familiar. Terry Lister was here for this and told us at the first commissioners meeting after the last election, here we go again, folks. Madeira Beach needs stability and experience. Nancy Hodges seems to have to keep informing the new commission of what they can and can't or shouldn't do during the meetings along with the city attorney. Who hires a city manager without a contract in place? She is always helping to explain what the charter does and does not allow. What would happen if Terry and Nancy resigned, as you asked? I think the people that should resign or be recalled are the ones who misled the voters of Madeira Beach with scare tactics and misinformation. Many of those people that have signed the recall petition said they felt duped. Just when I thought Madeira Beach politics were so crazy that no one would report on them anymore, I picked up today's paper and read John Roman's column, there's some in the back, with the heading of Madeira Beach, Sun, Sand, and Scorn. The last line was regarding finding a city manager. I quote, "After all, who wouldn't want that job?" Yes, Terry and Nancy signed the recall petition, and I hope concerned citizens will do the same thing and get Madeira Beach back on track. Thank you.
John Hendricks, 569 Normandy Road, Madeira Beach. I came to that last meeting. There were only a couple of people here. If it was posted, I didn't see it. You do have an email list of most everybody in the city. If you truly want some open communication, why don't you just email it to us? This is 2017. You brought up these two fine commissioners resigning because of a charter violation or a sunshine violation. Should we go over all the sunshine and charter violations that you three have had since you've been in office? Now we have an attorney that has decided he'll pursue those for the fees. Just as Madeira Beach United, the group you three were in, did that, and you paid yourselves $135,000. The whole thing is unbelievable. This article really is no different than this from 6 years ago. You're all familiar with it. I've passed it out to you a good while ago. Let's talk about Commissioner Oakley and Dothert going to Castaways after the meeting and talking city business with Linda Hine. What about that? Do you have any comment on that? What about meeting with the managers before you were given a budget? That wasn't y'all's to do. That was a violation of the charter. What about the emails and texts going back and forth and using people as conduits after you had been voted in office? It's one thing after another, and I will thank Bob Preston, it's true. Every day, every week, every month, you give us more ammunition. You have ruined this city. You've gone back to exactly what Commissioner Oakley did 6 years ago in running away these people. I hope that Mr. Pierce and Mr. Maracano and Mr. Brooks will read this and see who they're dealing with, because y'all have not been true and forthright with the city, with the people of Madeira Beach. The first phase of the recall is done. All the signatures were approved. And second phase is beginning now, and I'm sure it'll be easier than the first. Thank you.
My name is Linda Hine. I live at 401 150th Avenue here in Madeira Beach. Some of us didn't care for the prior commission, so we got people together that wanted to run, and new commissioners were voted in by overwhelming majority in the city. I understand there's a lot of people that don't care for this commission. That's okay. But I think they're going around about this the wrong way, but that's my opinion. The reason they brought up Mr. Lister and Mrs. Hodges for asking them about resigning is because that's in our charter, and they have a sunshine violation that was found to be so by the court. All these other charges for Maggie, Nancy, John are things that are being thrown out there. Nothing's gone to court yet. Also, this business about the castaways. I really regret that day because that was after a meeting. I suggested we all go there because I love tacos. Anyway, it was not just John Dothert, Nancy Oakley, and myself. It was also 2 other people that were there. We did not go there to talk about business. We went there to have a couple drinks and to eat the tacos, which I'd been telling them about. So that's a bunch of garbage. They can't make decisions when they're out there, when they're meeting and things like that. Believe me, we don't talk about that stuff. And I don't care that somebody took our pictures at Castaway. That doesn't prove anything. I was there. We weren't talking about that. I just wish that everybody would sort of come together a little bit and try to make this whole town a little bit better. Not everybody agrees with some of the methods, but I certainly didn't agree with the methods before. And there's a way to go about that. You find people to run and you support them and you get them in office. I would love it if Mr. Lister and Ms. Hodges would stay and be supportive and add their expertise, excuse me, expertise to the board and what could be done. But in spite of the election and what it said, I mean, really, y'all were voted in to do something good for the city. And I don't disagree with everything you've done, and I probably don't agree with everything either. But there's a way to go about it, and we just have to start being a little bit more positive here. And quit throwing out about all this sunshine violation and all this stuff. I mean, I was there at that particular get-together. That's garbage. So you can't just keep throwing things out. I mean, you know, let's prove it or be quiet. You can't just want it. And because you don't care for the commissioners, that's not a reason to recall them.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Okay. Michelle Loss, 280 East Madera Avenue, resident, business owner, and concerned citizen. In 1996, my husband decided to open his business here. He saw great potential in this thriving community. Since then, his business has continued to grow and thrive. Through the hurricanes, economy slide, oil spill, you name it. We made it through, we've climbed the hills, and we're right back on top. It took constant commitment and hard work. It is not only commitment to the business, but also to our community. The business also thrived because our city was thriving, because we had leadership that was committed. They were part of our community. My husband's business is open 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and all holidays. With that said, there are no paid vacations, no paid holidays, nor sick days. There are no benefits, 401ks, stock options, retirement plans, or packages. Just plain hard work, dedication, saving, budgeting, and lots of creative problem solving. When people own a business, run a business, or let's say run a city, these values would assumably come into play, wouldn't they? Today, I do not see it the way I see it. You in front of me are people who want to completely choke the life out of this thriving community with no plan to re-nourish. It seems our supposed city leaders' priorities are to clean house when it was already clean and worry which titled position has the most personal gain of power and monetary means. The few that have survived the mass firings or removals and abundance of ignorance deserve a lot of credit and support from our community for sticking it out. Terry Lister and Nancy Hodges are the only sane and lucid members sitting on the board today. They know the meaning of hard work and dedication. Their message is clear that they truly care about Madera Beach. Thank you. I do not want people running our city who are not dedicated to the welfare of its residents, businesses, and homeowners. You three have caused an immense amount of embarrassment and a huge monetary loss, including decline in business and home values in Madera Beach. It is time to remove yourselves or be removed.
Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Bill Carnes, 19424 Gulf Boulevard, Indian Shores. I'm here on behalf of myself, my family, and Rock Park. I want to start out by thanking Terry and Nancy. Without them, Rock Park wouldn't be out here in the city. They were here from the beginning, have supported it every day. I also want to give thanks to Dave Marsicano. We had 20 boats in the boat parade, and weather was bad. Other cities canceled their boat parade. Dave saw it through to the end. It was reasonably well attended for the wind and the cold that we all endured out at the park. We sold 5 gallons of hot chocolate, so that was obviously the drink of the day for the families that were out to enjoy the park. I also want to thank Chris Mecco and Jay Hatch as they were barbecuing hot dogs and hamburgers on their time. And I think those are some great city employees. I hope you all see fit to make sure they stay in place. I also want to thank CJ and Colin, along with Jay Hatch and Chris Mecco. I was out there helping them install the sunshades in the park that were destroyed by Hurricane Irma. So there's a lot of great people in this city. It's wonderful to see them come together. And once again, I want to give special thanks to Terry and Nancy for their dedication and commitment to making Madeira Beach what it is today. Thank you very much.
My name is Rick Cowley. I pastor Crossbridge Church, 153rd Avenue. You'll notice I'm not wearing a shirt, but it's not because I don't have an opinion. I'm here to say a special thanks to Commissioner Hodges and Commissioner Lister, because my experience in this town reflects their commitment to health here. Let me tell you what a pastor sees when he comes to commission meetings. Those of us who've been through divorce, or those of us who've counseled divorce, have seen this phenomenon dozens and dozens of times. If I can't have the house, I'll burn it down so you can't have it. If I can't have the kids, I'll turn them against you so you can't have them. What I see happening in Madeira Beach from a pastor's perspective is a whole bunch of people who are saying, I'll have it my way or I'll burn it down. And I think it's time you guys realized all of us are paying a price for children in the playpen. And we need to see some adults show up here. That's my thought. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Public comment is, all right, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Sorry. Good evening. Marv Merrill, 5801 Crystal Drive. Now you know why you're getting that big paycheck every month. You have to listen to these comments that are very degrading. Most of them, many of them, are not deserved. I certainly don't agree with everything you voted on. You voted against things that I thought you went down the wrong road. But on the other hand, I think you're doing what you can. And certainly it's Jerry Lister and Nancy Hodges the same way. They've voted on some things I didn't like, but they voted on other things that I certainly agree with. So I really think all of you are trying to do the job. You have to keep in mind that when you took office, you inherited a $15 million debt that this city has, that the previous commission put you in. And that debt has $5.5 million in interest. You also inherited a budget which was pretty much put together when you took office. So I just think we've got to give you a chance. It's easy to get up here and talk about all the things you're doing wrong, and personally, it takes time on a commission to get established. I've been here 30 years, and I was on the commission for 6 years. So I just ask all of the citizens, give you a chance. I know you're not doing everything right, but I think you're giving it your all. And I just appreciate all 5 of you for what you're doing. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Public comment is now closed. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have the approval for the mayor, myself, to sign a letter on behalf of the city of Madeira Beach approving the distribution of funds from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant and to list the projects to be funded. And this is simply a grant received by Pinellas County in the amount of $277,379. And the letter is to be signed. It approves the distribution of these funds from the grants and lists the projects that the Substance Abuse Advisory Board has approved for the upcoming fiscal year. Any discussion from the board?
Just to be clear, Madam Mayor, none of these grants are going to the city of Madeira Beach.
No.
Right. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Floor is now open for public comment on this item. Floor is now closed. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion that this commission pass the consent agenda.
I second.
City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Douthat?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes. The purchase of the dumpsters has been put off till the new business. Next, we have under contracts and agreements, the Complus Data Innovations Agreement. Director Pierce?
Commission, this is an agreement with Compass Data. We've had them for the past 3 years. They provide parking ticket management services for the city. They are specialists in parking ticket processing. The services include payment management, data processing, and systems for tracking information and reporting. The 3-year agreement that we had, and we have had a good relationship the previous years, expires in January. And that's a fortunate thing because the new contract, renewal contract that we have at council's approval is to include our 2 new advanced handhelds that will work with our new parking machines that were all installed last week. The current fees for the collected revenue remains at 12.5% as the previous contract. And again, we will receive 2 up-to-date M5 handheld units, which will communicate with our new cell phone application feature, which is on the parking machines. And so we need these 2 handhelds to activate that feature. So right now, until we get these handhelds, the new cell phone application is not working.
Okay.
So the new equipment plus the software replaced, will be working with the new machines to make that feature work.
How soon can we have that?
That's a good question. We hope to get these 2 new in probably next couple of weeks.
Any discussion from the board?
I'm looking for the length of the contract, Mr. Financial Director.
It's for another 3 years.
Thank you very much. And it stays at 12.5%?
Yes.
And that's of what? 12.5% of what? Tickets or
Of collected
complete?
revenue. Yes.
The whole money?
Yeah.
The whole 1.4 million, is it?
Just the collected revenue for the tickets.
Oh, for the tickets?
Right.
I understand. Thank you. Yeah, this is a good deal.
Any more
Could you explain, the secondary advanced collections is 35.5%? What exactly does that mean?
I think that's if nobody pays their ticket, John.
Where-
Got to go after them.
Whereabouts
Have
is
to
that?
track them down. It's on page, the last page, page 11 of 11. And they also talk about that they give us 8 hours, and anything after 8 hours, I guess that's of training, it's $150 an hour.
Yeah, anything after 8 hours, the price goes up to that 150. I can provide you more information of that 35.5% if you want. That remains the same as well from the previous contract.
Just seems awful high. And then if they mail, I don't understand this, that for postage, we have to reimburse them for postage, we have to reimburse them for every friggin' thing. It says on that last page, we reimburse them for postage. Also. Then we're reimbursing them for handheld ticket stock or for the,
I don't
paper.
know how much that postage is. Again, I can get that to you if,
And then for the paper, we have to pay them again. We're reimbursing them for that. So it's plus, 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 plus on this.
again, it's the same contract that we've had.
I'm not arguing that, Walt. I'm just asking the questions, what all this means and what's this costing us.
Right, it's the same cost that we've been experiencing for the last 3 years.
But,
The only
but
real,
what is that cost?
if you want the exact postage amount, I wasn't prepared to give that to you tonight. I didn't know if that was going to be a question. I can find out what that is and give that to you.
Please.
The bottom line is, if this does not get approved, and we do not get the 2 new handhelds, the new parking machines that we installed last week will not work with the mobile application feature.
I just think this is something we should have looked into beforehand. This is BS.
I do too, John. I think it was a good question. Just for institutional knowledge, the company that we had before this 3-year contract was way more expensive. We were paying a lot more than 12.5%. Vince came up with this company, and they're a good company, but just like any subcontractor that I've ever worked with, my roofers do it to me all the time. You know, they start low because they want their foot in the door, and once they get their foot in the door, then they start adding stuff. So all we're saying, Walter, is if you go to them and say, you know, show me why we're adding, if we're adding, or if it's exactly the same thing we've had for 3 years, I'm certainly okay with it, because I know the contract that we had before this was a lot more money, almost triple. We saved a lot of money with this contract. We just don't want them to take advantage of us now. We just want to act smart. Just say, you know, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Get us just a little bit more information. And again, I'm okay with that, but I need to know specific numbers. I mean, you can't just sign a blank check and say, I don't know. Now the thing that bothers me is that, you know, the system won't operate until they give you the 2 handhelds. That's almost blackmail to a certain extent. We just bought $160,000 worth of machines, and we can't use them until you hand me 2 little black boxes. And I understand those black boxes are a big deal. They communicate to all our computers, and they communicate to the bank, and that's a big deal. But that upsets me that they're going to try to hold us hostage to another 3-year contract if we don't use those.
If the commission wanted expenses on postage, I'd be glad to provide that if somebody would have called me.
I'm sure you would, Walter, and I didn't want postage. Again, I think the company's good. I just think we need to find out if they're adding extras, and they are adding extras.
To me, I'm a finance director, but that's a minimal expense on this contract.
There you go, and that's well said. But I'm asking why the old handhelds don't work. Is it just, they're not up to
It's
date?
the
They
new
don't have the same chip?
it's the new technology.
And I
that-
think we talked about that.
Yes.
And Commissioner Oakley said, I think we should get a phone app, and I'm totally in her fault. My daughter never uses anything but her phone. I mean, she talks to Alexa and does the whole thing, and that's fine. I mean, that millennium generation is gonna want to do that. And I think that new cars that are gonna come through sooner or later, they're gonna wanna do that too, if they park at all. I think parking's a really dead-end street. I know we make a lot of money on parking right now, but I'm telling you, in 15 years, we're gonna have to come up with a different source of.
By the way, too, and I'll repeat this again, one of the whole ideas of going to this is that residents will still have, and I know you mentioned this before, will still have their pass.
Oh, absolutely.
But Jim Black
If we don't give
has-
them the pass, they'd do this. They'd
Okay.
come in and tell us, give me my
All
pass
right,
back.
to finish, Jim Black has been keeping a log of the residents and their plates, and that will be automatically fed into these or programmed into these machines. So eventually, and maybe not all cases, but the passes will go away. In some unique cases, they'll stay. But the whole idea about the new technology is that will be phased out.
And it's gonna make it easier for our residents. And I'm all for
Absolutely.
that. I'm
Yep.
all for that. That's fantastic. And I would simply pay slightly more for that convenience. And
And,
I understand we're paying some more. We just wanna know how much more. That's all we're asking.
Right.
John and I just wanna say, if we were paying this, show me what my postage was for the past 3 years.
I'll get you the postage figure.
and-
By the way, I'm glad I'm very satisfied the way the implementation went for the machines. I got to credit Chris Tarkington for that. He did a super job, as usual.
Yeah.
We took in $2 million last year
Absolutely.
in parking, and a lot of that credit goes to him.
I can't tell you how
And,
many times I watched these guys in the old city hall bring in those quarter boxes. They were just brutal. You know, when we went to these machines, it was fantastic. It's good for the citizens. Yeah, they didn't cost them a dime. They're not gonna say anything. If it doesn't cost them anything and they get to park for free on the beach, they're good with that.
The only
You know?
problem that we've had is some of the paper coming out has been kind of rough, and we're working those bugs out.
And I thought that paper was actually from them. It's a specific item we have to purchase from them. It's a little like McDonald's. If you have a franchise, you gotta buy from McDonald's. So we
Right.
have to buy the paper from these same people.
Yes,
So tell them to straighten the paper thing out.
right.
Okay. But I'm gonna table this till we get a little bit more information. I don't know about the two handhelds now. I don't know how that's gonna shut us down.
I don't know if we should table it if we can't use it until,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Can't we get the two handhelds and start the system rolling without having a 3-year contract in
No.
place? It's not gonna
No.
happen.
No.
They're blackmailing us.
Well, here, let me ask you this. The postage, the ticket stock, and the data plans, was that all in the agreement before?
Yes, I
So
said
it's
that.
virtually the same contract
It
we've
is the
had?
same contract, the same percentage. They've been a good company to us. We've had a good relationship. Nothing has changed.
So I can't see how knowing how much the postage is going to change my opinion.
it's not how much it is, it's just that we would like to know what we're dealing with. I
We're
guess
signing
that-
a blank check.
But would that
Yeah.
change your vote?
Probably not, when we have to have it to make these parking meters work at this point. You know, but like I said, we should have looked into this before we bought the parking meters, and we had all this done ahead of time, you know, but we didn't. You know, shame on us for this one.
Well, that being said, our old parking meters were stopped talking. They stopped talking to the bank. And we had to trust an employee, Chris, and some other
But, by the
employees,
way, the
to tell us how
machines,
much they were bringing in.
the current handhelds that we have will still work with the machines. It's just.
Won't get the phone app.
They will not have the phone app feature.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, the commission needs to be aware of, is that the current agreement expires in January.
Right.
What day in January?
It says it on there.
It just expires in January.
Yeah, I didn't see a date.
Let's go for 31st then, huh?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Again, I think we saved a lot of money going with this company.
Wait a minute.
I just don't want them to start taking advantage of it. I've done this a lot of times. I mean, my subcontractors, once they get comfortable, they just want more money on their next jobs. So just tell me why they want a little more money, and if it's technology, if you know, the thing about technology, and I know we have more options with these new parking machines, it should make it cheaper. You know, it should be a little cheaper, and That being said, it's not. Tell me why, just tell me why.
I guess, he keeps saying it's gonna be the same cost as we have right
Well,
now.
but it's
That's-
not, John. It's in here. This is gonna be more costly to a certain extent. It's gonna cost more to process the tickets or something, a little bit more, or is it just 12.5 across the board again?
It's 12.5%.
Okay, but
That's the same.
in some paperwork that I read preparing for the meeting, it said that there's gonna be a slight higher cost. Maybe that was the two handhelds that I was reading about.
Yeah, that said that in there.
Yeah, it said it's gonna be a higher cost. So I'm just saying, sit down with them and see if this is the best deal we can get. And we'll definitely have a meeting. I mean, how many times do we call special meetings here? We can call a special meeting in 24 hours. Madam Mayor is good at a special meeting, so we can call a special meeting and have the contract ratified or okayed or however you want to do it. Again, I'm okay with this company. I'm just wanting a little more information.
Any more discussion from the board?
No, ma'am.
Public comment is now open.
John Hendricks, 569 Normandy Road, Madeira Beach. I just have a question, and probably it should have been brought up at a workshop, and that is motorcycles at Johns Pass Village. You can't pull in frontwards because you can't back a 700, 800, 900-pound motorcycle. You can't back it up that hill. Those all have a steep slope to them. So we either need some, because there are a lot of bikers that come in there, we either need a designated area for bikes, or you need to let the bikes back in, because you can't push them out. John and Nancy, would y'all like to go get some tacos after the meeting?
Any more public comment? Public comment is now closed. So I guess at this point, we either have a motion or decide to table it. Did you find out what the date is, Walt?
No, it just expires in January.
All right, well, we have a couple of weeks anyway then. Shall we table it? Okay. Next, we have the active IT security agreement with the network people. Director Pierce?
The city experienced some cyber intrusion in our Outlook mail drive and the first week in December. And it is recommended through Network, our IT consultant, that advanced security sweeps, training, and increased security be added as a separate agreement in addition to our existing contract. These are advanced features, and this comes at a price, and they originally had 12 months, and I indicated that it'd be better to have 6-month agreement and have an assessment after that. It is $3,400 per month. There are cities and small towns like ours that are being targeted. Like I said, we experienced some intrusions that actually, on a Friday, we changed all the passwords. And after that, 2 days after that, we then got, or I was told that there were hits that were blocked that could have entered the system. So I know this comes with a price. It is something that is facing even the federal government, and it's just a way of life right now. I did indicate to Nate Freeman, who is the president of the network, that isn't this type of protection in the existing contract? And he said yes, but that was 3 years ago, and a lot has happened in this type of area, and people targeting certain governmental entities like us. And so, again, it's just additional advanced security measures that they are taking. I think we also want to, Darrell and I talked about taking other preventive measures as well in addition to this. So this isn't just one thing that we're thinking of having as far as protection.
What other things are you thinking about?
We may be thinking about maybe an overall IT audit of the system and getting maybe an outside organization to expertise to give us maybe, take a look at our system and give us any recommendations.
I think that's an excellent idea to do that.
I do too, but I think it's an excellent idea to do it before you pay these guys $41,000. Can we do that before?
These security measures are in, I gave them the go-ahead to put these in now. So if, and I will do whatever commission wants, but if this contract is and I don't want this to sound like the previous issue, but I don't want to have to go back to them and say that the security measures that they've already installed at my go-ahead, that they have to take those off.
Well, Walt, you can't do that.
I'm sorry?
You can't do that.
Do
You
what?
can't tell them to install $41,000 worth of my money without asking me.
I don't understand the question.
Okay, you can't do that. Which part of that don't you understand?
All right.
You can't do that. That's simply not right. You can't tell them to install, again, it's a yearly fee, I understand it, $41,000. It's not that, it hasn't cost us that much this so far.
This isn't an annual agreement.
Again, I see the 6 months, but you can't tell them to do this.
This isn't an installation.
It's
This is
something that they put
protection.
into our hard, we got hacked. Did we get hacked?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Did we get hacked?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
there you go. We got hacked. Everybody gets hacked.
Okay.
But the hackers are the ones that are saying, okay, now you got to pay me. And I'm not saying that this company's doing that, Walter. I'm absolutely not. I just need an outside company to come in and say, Terry, this is your best plan to stop future hacking. The people that are already in my system have told me that this is the best plan to stop future hacking, but that's not who I want to hear from. I don't want the choir to preach to me. I want to go out and find another preacher to come in and do the sermon on Sunday morning.
So you don't want the features that are in this contract?
That is right now, I don't want them. Right now, I don't want them.
So
I don't want the
effective
contract to be in effect if I haven't okayed it. If you came to me 2 weeks ago and said, Terry, we got to do this. They're hacking us. They're taking social security numbers of Helen. They're taking her social security number. That's a terrible, terrible thing. That's an emergency. That's something that has to be fixed now.
This is an emergency.
You're trying to get out of it now, Walter.
No,
and
I'm
that's
not.
okay. That's okay. I understand where
I am
you're
not
going.
trying to get out of it. I
It's
want
an
to express.
emergency that the company that installed it said it was an emergency. That's my issue
By the way,
here.
this is not an installation. This is
Again, Walter, I'm not an
advanced
IT guy, and you're right. It's not an installation. It's a piece of software that they put in the computers, and I have no idea what you're
No,
talking
it isn't it isn't a
There you go,
software.
see, I'm just exposing myself.
Okay.
But I am, and I do have responsibility of this $41,000 that we're going to spend, however, seems like we've already
It's
spent
$20,400.
for 6 months.
Over 6 months.
Yes, all right, so I'm just going with the annual budget. I'm
just
just
wanna
throwing
make
a
sure
number
we're
out there.
talking about the same
We're
thing.
talking about the same thing, and the thing we're talking about is the okay has already been given without me giving the okay. And I'm not an important guy. I'm 20% of these people right here. But it's their money.
I just want to indicate to commission, we had to stop these blocks.
Well, then that
These
was something that
attacks.
needed to be at least told to me, because I was never told that.
I'm sorry?
I was never told that.
Told what?
That our information was being hacked and there was detrimental information
We are
getting
being
out.
hacked and it's detrimental to the
Tonight's not the
city.
night to be telling me this. You know, you've already done it. You've already done it. And I can't undo what you've already done. I mean, I can go back and say, no, take your stuff off, and then they'll take all of my protection off, and then I'm wide open to malware. And you know, malware is, you're not gonna open this until you pay me. It's a terrible thing, IT is, and I don't know enough about it, and I'm just gonna say, I'm glad it's in your ballpark and not mine, but you can't do anything like that. You can't spend money without coming to this commission and saying, I wanna spend some
Commissioner,
money.
one more time, the company not installed, but
said it was.
have these services of additional protection in lieu of this contract being approved. So nothing was given without your approval. It's just in lieu of this contract being approved, they installed these new security features. It's not a software.
That I haven't paid for yet, right?
I'm sorry?
I haven't paid for these yet.
You only approve it when you approve this contract.
I see. But it's been installed. I
No,
haven't paid
nothing
for it,
has
but it's
been installed. It's additional protection.
I'm so confused.
Look,
Help me
the
out,
way,
James.
we need to go ahead and do this for the 6-month contract because of the fact we have been hacked. But on the flip side of that, we need to have an IT audit done by an outside
Yes,
company.
I'm good with that.
And that company can tell us if this $3,400 is well spent, or if there's something better out there, a better product out there, or a better service out there.
And don't say 34, let's get the rabbit out of the hat. It's
20,000. The contract
It's
right now,
20,000.
as
When I
it
signed the
stands, is
contract, it's gonna cost us
$20,400.
$20,000. Right.
Right,
Okay.
so we need to go ahead and approve that, and in the meantime, get Walt to get us an IT audit.
How long does an IT audit take? Can I have somebody come in
But by the
here
way, one more
tomorrow?
time, at the signing of the contract, 2 months is due $6,800.
Right.
Nothing has been paid. They provided these additional services to watch our system. A lot of it is additional manpower and man-hours that it takes them to watch our system. So instead of going in the morning and seeing everything's okay, and then in the afternoon or in the evening, they're going in there pretty continuously to see what is going through and to try to block what's coming into our system that are coming from outside servers, New York, Nigeria, and that's what's being mentioned to me.
I'm not saying there's not hackers out there. I'm saying we're getting hacked. We're definitely getting hacked.
We're being targeted.
My issue with this whole thing, Mr. Financial Director, is that I thought, this was what you said, have already installed this equipment. So if it hasn't been installed, I think this point is moot.
Anything
If
that's
it's
been done
installed-
by network is being done in lieu of this being approved by council.
It's been done. They've got us, they've got the.
It is being done.
From what he's saying, whatever they
Not
do,
costing
the system has been done, or the system has been protected. So we can't get hacked anymore, and they're watching who's pinging coming in.
Now we gotta pay for that protection that they put in.
Right, but that's
Aye.
why he only did the 6-month contract,
I'm for it.
because then the second part of that, let's do an audit.
All
Let's
right.
find out if this is really the way this company, is it a good company to be with? Is there something else out there? Because I have that same question. Why use the same company to protect us against their software?
I'm with you on that. Nancy.
Now, I will tell you initially, they gave me a 1-year contract, and I said, no. I mean, we're gonna do a
Good for you, Walt. Don't spend money until you ask me.
6-month contract, and we will review, basically have an outside independent review of the system. And after 6 months, and with that analysis, we'll
So
have another assessment.
You're telling me that it takes 6 months to do a review? Does it take that long to do a review?
No,
I need
no,
to
it
know how long
doesn't.
it takes to do an
Can't we
IT
amend
review.
the contract for 3 months while we do the audit?
They will not, well,
We can always cancel it. Make sure
No,
if there
you
is an
can't
out.
just cancel a contract. If you sign it, Yancy, you gotta be
No.
up and up. You gotta pay them.
Can we get an out?
I'm sorry?
Can we get an out? If there's an issue with what they've done, there's your out right there.
I don't
From an audit.
understand what they've done. I mean.
No, if an audit shows that there's something that's been done.
I don't know what that means. I think the additional audit would show any additional security measures that we can take, any other recommendations that they can, or weaknesses that they can see in the system. I don't see anything against the company or being a target for the company. I don't see it from that standpoint. I just see as additional recommendations on how we can improve the system.
So you don't think they would go for 3 months?
What this company is recommending right now is basically good things that we need.
And I'm sure you believe that 100%, Walter. I'm sure you do. I don't. I just don't. You haven't proved that to me. I have no idea who these people are. I simply know that we're paying them a contract right now, and they come to us and say, it didn't work. You need more, and this is how much it's gonna cost. Well, that's just a simple case of blackmail. It didn't work. What do you mean it didn't work? It was your responsibility to do that. You're my network people. Don't come to me and say everything's screwed up
These people are
now.
the professionals that we're relying on to get us to do our work every day. They help us and take care of our system. And we even had our email system that went down with a server problem today.
I get
They were quick
quarantined
to-
with mine. I get quarantined. My emails get quarantined. I have no idea why they get quarantined. But I'm sure this company is quarantining them. I'm sure they are. Because that's our network security, right? I mean, that's who quarantines my emails if they don't like what I'm getting. And I'm okay with it. Usually it's from somebody I don't want to hear from anyway.
It doesn't matter to me.
I'm back to the basics here. It's terrible that they're coming to you and say, you need to pay us more money to get better service. That's my issue here.
Commissioner,
That's
I don't see it
basically
that way. I rely on them. They're our professionals. They've done good work for us.
And what's going to stop them in 6 months saying, oh, what we did was not exactly right. We need another $20,000.
I'm not going to recommend that.
I don't understand what's.
They don't want to vote on it, then that's fine.
And are you saying that we can't go for a 3 month, they won't go for that? Can we try?
I didn't ask them that. They asked a 12-month, and I got it down to 6.
Who's our IT guy? Is it Chris? Who's our IT guy in-house? Don't we have an IT guy in-house?
These are our IT professionals.
With you on that. So with you on that. We have a contract over here with them right now.
Yes, that's
Right.
why we have a
Who's our
contract.
in-house IT guy?
They are our IT person, and I work with them to make sure that everything is being taken care of and
Okay,
what we need.
all right, but it's not being taken care of, and it was said by them that it's not being taken care of, but for $20,000, I'll give you 6 months of added security. So that was what was said to you by our IT guys.
No, I was
No.
told, I was told by the president that this is serious. You're being targeted, not local, but you're being targeted.
As is every other municipality up and down the
Yes.
beach, I'm sure.
Yes, and it's a very serious situation.
Okay, all right, I understand that completely. I do, we need protection. I don't want, again, Helen's social security number to get out there. I don't want Terry's social security number to get out there, or any other person that lives in the city of Madeira Beach. I do not want that. I want the best protection I
I
can
will
get.
tell you one more thing.
But if I have to just
I'll tell
stop
you
the
one more
system.
thing that scares me as a
You'll probably
finance
tell me
director.
more than one thing, because I'm going to ask a few more questions.
One
Go
more
ahead.
thing that scares me as a finance director, these people are so sophisticated. We do wire transfers.
They have our
almost-
checkbook.
We do wire transfers almost every week. These people are so sophisticated, they can come in your system, pretend that you're a colleague next door or in the next office, and they can instruct you to do something, and you think that you're talking to the person or Frank next door.
Now you're talking about the hackers.
Yes.
Yes,
And
they are
that's
sophisticated.
how
They're
sophisticated
smart
they
people.
are.
Okay.
And they've actually gone into some cities, one city about a month ago, they went in and changed the finance director's wire instructions, and $900,000, they changed the particulars of how that was being sent.
Right.
And it went, and it was gone.
Okay.
And as a finance
Completely
director,
understand that. I know.
that type of stuff scares the heck out of me.
Right. Hackers or blackmailers, that's what they do, they steal your money.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, if we can put this off a week till we can set up a special workshop, it's apparent to me that we don't have the necessary information from network people to move forward with this issue. it is a huge problem for us, and we're very concerned about the security of our finances here in the city. We have a lot of transactions that go back and forth on a daily basis. Network people came to us when the initial hacking occurred, and it was going out to all city email addresses, and we were very concerned about that. That's why we contacted network people initially. Network people said we can put some security issues in place and move forward. What we should have done is set up a workshop with you guys so you'd have more information about what exactly is being protected and what they're doing for us. So if you'll allow us to postpone this until our next workshop and call a special workshop so we can move forward on this and get some accurate information to everybody concerned.
And I know you think I'm going to slap myself in the face, but again, I don't want any information to be hacked in the city of Madeira Beach. I want the best protection I can get. So if they've already done this, and is it my understanding again that they've already put this extra security on?
When we contacted them initially, they said yes, they were going to put this in place for us.
This has already been put on. So I'm not going to be the guy that you're going to call in 2 months and say, yeah, the reason I'm hacked is because, you wouldn't spend $6,800.
Well, I think information is important. I think that we should have network people in here to talk about that and to talk about doing that audit that normally you do
I love
every
the
3
audit.
to 5
I think
years.
definitely we should do the audit, but if we're protected now at that higher level, I'm okay. I just want you to understand, Walter, I don't want you to go into a contract with anybody if you don't bring it in front of these 5 people first. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm good with this.
All right, so we're going to table it for a special meeting and.
No.
I just
No,
want to say that
we're
I
gonna
am
vote on
not,
it.
that I do not go along with that recommendation.
No, I don't either. I don't, Madam Mayor. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
Again,
I
I
have to say that.
backtrack, and if I'm protected now at this extra $6,800, whatever it's going to be, $20,400.
I think we need
$20,400.
to vote on it and then also bring in the internal audit.
I like that.
That, and add
But
that to.
we're about to
add that
spend
this.
$20,400. That's for sure.
Correct.
I think we're okay with that. Are you okay with that, guy? Okay,
I
let's
think the attorney had something to say.
public input.
It sounds like it's resolved, but you could always add a term to the contract, the terms of contract, where it says 6 months. You could state, the city in its sole discretion may terminate this advanced security agreement with 30 days written notice to network people. And most likely they would agree to that kind of clause. They may not, but you can certainly propose your own terms back to network people. You don't have to accept what they give you.
Can we also put in a clause that if the IT audit, the exterior or the independent IT audit comes up with a problem, it's terminated immediately?
Well, it'll be in your sole discretion, and you'll have to give them 30 days' notice, I think. That's
Okay,
That's
all
fair,
right.
so I would leave it that way and leave the external audit out.
I'm good with putting that in there, Walter. Okay.
Any more discussion from the board? We're open for public comment now. Yes, sir.
Steve Rayo, 557 Crystal Drive in Madeira Beach. As I listened to both sides here, both parties, Mr. Lister, Mr. Pierce, it seems that Mr. Pierce was fighting very hard for the company, and you were asking a lot of right questions. And I started thinking about some experiences that I've had recently with some unethical companies. And there are a lot of them out there in all areas of commerce. I bought something, and they don't tell you right off that this is just the basic deal. This is the basic product. Now, to get it to work at its maximum, you're going to need to add, but you've already given them your credit card, and then go try to cancel the thing. I don't know if any of you have experienced any of this, but this is what it sounds like is happening here. And when I buy something, I want it to work at its maximum benefit when I buy it. I don't want to have to keep putting more and more into it, and it's rental. That's not purchase. Yes, there's always going to be maintenance costs in anything we do. You buy a car, you got to change the oil. But I don't want to go into something. I mean, there are other companies out there doing this, I'm sure. And I agree with Mr. Lister. We must be careful of our pennies because they turn into dollars real quick in this economy. Thank you.
I agree with the comments, Mr. Lister. I understand that there's a
Name and address for the record, please.
Robert Preston, 425 South Bay Shore. I agree with Mr. Lister. I understand Mr. Pierce's concern, but I'm just curious, is the budget director allowed to commit $20,400 of the city's money without approval from the commission?
No.
That's a question.
Hey, Terry, you were saying that your emails come in quarantined?
Yes.
More than a third of mine come in
And
quarantined.
Florida League of Cities. I mean,
Yes, Florida
you know,
League of Cities and a few
they
other
go into
ones.
quarantine.
And
Yeah.
I brought my laptop in and had these people work on it, and they said, oh, it's all cleared up. Within 2 days, I was right back to everyone being quarantined.
Wow, yeah. That's just bad service.
Yeah.
And it could be that, I hardly ever bring this in. This stays at my house, and I don't know, every once in a while I forget my password, and I have to come in and get my password, but that's about it. But in Walter's defense, you're backed into a corner. I mean, they call you, they say you're gonna get hacked, and, there's a possibility you can lose every dime of your money. You need to put that extra in, and I understand that, but we really need to have an emergency meeting in that type of situation to find out what's going on.
Agreed.
So, I'm not gonna defend what you did, Walter, but I am gonna say that, next time it happens, it's gonna be done differently than this time.
Any more public comment? Public comment is now closed. Do we have a motion?
Is the motion, what's the motion? Madam Mayor, I make a motion that this commission enter into a 6-month contract agreement with Active IT Security for the amount of $20,400 with the clause that if the IT company that we call to come in and look over things finds an issue with how that was installed or what was installed, that we have a 30-day opt-out clause for calls. It would be for calls, wouldn't be for no calls. So as long as we have a 30-day opt-out for cause clause in the contract, I'm good with signing the 6-month contract. And I would like to have a workshop to find out when we can get that IT, started. That. Thank you. You know
I'll
what?
second.
You're reading my mind.
Any more comments from the commission? City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Doubtford?
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes. Next, under new business, well, I guess we'll go with the dumpsters now.
Please. I will take this one. This is the purchase of dumpsters. We do this annually. We have issues all over town. People are yelling and screaming. Megan went out of her way this year and was able to bring the cost of the dumpsters down, I think by about 14%. So staff recommendation is for approval, please.
Any discussion from the board?
Just quickly, Dave, we're not going to continue to repair our dumpsters, right? We're going to discontinue that, or was that?
No, I'm
something I read?
always, if I can squeeze a little bit out of it, I will.
Okay. All right, I thought there was something in here I read that said we're going to discontinue fixing them. But
Well, we're not going to discontinue fixing them, but we're buying a better product now that I don't think we'll have to be doing that as frequently as we are now.
Great. Now, when you do buy these, is there any type of, 6-month guarantee or anything like that? I know these things get beat up and really taken advantage of.
They do. These are a thicker steel this time.
Right.
Or metal.
But I mean, like
I'm not
wheels
sure
falling off,
exactly.
that type of stuff?
I'm not sure exactly about the warranty.
Okay, all right, just check on that before,
Honestly.
because I know we need them. You know, I'm okay with getting them for sure, but if they have any type of.
Yeah, we got them at a lower rate, and they're definitely a better dumpster.
Fantastic.
They're being used in Treasure Island also.
Good, good.
So staff recommendation is for approval once again, please.
Is this for the $18,000 bid that's in the, that we have?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, because you got 3 different bids in here.
Right.
Yeah, it's for the lowest bid.
And just for the record, these are the replacement forms in the budget.
Yes. Right, the last one's Parkan, I think that their quote is in there. I mean, we followed all of the policies and procedures that are in the manual that was approved by y'all as a board, and to get the 3 quotes and for purchase of the dumpsters.
Mm-hmm.
Is this, are we buying every year dumpsters?
Yes, we rotate them out every year. We have to buy them.
Why wasn't this in the budget, I guess?
It is in the budget.
It is in the budget.
Oh, I missed it.
I would never bring anything that wasn't in the budget without telling you it wasn't in the budget.
Yeah, it was in a capital fund.
Oh, I missed it.
If I ever bring something before this board that's not either budgeted or in there, I will make sure that it says that.
I'm sorry, I missed it when I went through the
No
budget.
problem.
I'll find it.
Sorry, I don't have it right in front of me at the moment.
Any more discussion from the board? Floor is open for public comment. Yes, sir.
Folks, it just occurred to me.
Name and address for the.
Oh, Steve Rayo,
Thank you.
557 Crystal Drive, Madeira Beach. Thought you knew me already, sorry. All of the various vendors that our city deals with, we need things. It costs money to run a business, run a city. It's the same thing. The problem with government, running a city, or any government, is that vendors have a tendency to believe that government has deep pockets. Do we put any of the things we need out for bid? 3 bids, 4 bids, 3, sorry. Okay, 3 bids. So we went with the lowest bid initially, obviously, right, Mr. Director? Dave, I'm talking to now, right?
Yes, you are talking to Dave, and we do get 3 quotes
3 quotes.
for any of the products or services. You know, if we go over a certain amount, we go to an RFP.
Mm-hmm.
There's policies and procedures for everything, as you well know as a
Right.
retired police officer.
Sure.
Chain of
Very
command,
important.
policies, procedures, and we follow them.
Well, it just seems that we spent a lot of time on the prior issue, and it seems like, I don't know whether a bid was put out on that or not. I guess it would have to be if it's government.
Yes, a bid was put out.
But as I said before, it seems like the add-ons end up costing as much as the addition, as the original.
Not the case with the dumpster.
No, not the case with the dumpsters, that's true. And we're talking about that now, I'm sorry. I apologize, I had a tendency to backtrack. I was still on both issues. But that was, I'm glad to know that we're doing things according to Hoyle, and that I know that the people that are in position are trying to save the money. I know you do, Dave. I've known you for a long time. Thank you.
Any more public comment?
Capital,
Floor is now closed for public
Should
comment.
be under sanitation.
under sanitation.
Okay,
Okay.
it should be in sanitation.
I'm gonna get home and look at mine.
Departmental supplies.
Do we have a motion?
Dave, it is the Iron Container Company that you want to go with.
Yes, sir,
I'll make a
please.
motion that this commission pass a approval to enter into a contract or to pay Iron Container located at 3230 Northwest 42nd Street in Miami, Florida, $18,170 for the delivery of said containers. I can name them out or if you want, but
I second.
thanks.
Any more discussion from commission or staff? City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Doubtford?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Next, we have an ordinance, 2017, the matter of holding the 2018 municipal election and its location for a first reading. Okay.
He reads it.
Right.
I'll read it. Ordinance 2017-13 by title only. An ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, calling for a general municipal election on March 13, 2018, for the purpose of electing a commissioner for District 1 and a commissioner for District 2, providing authorization for the City of Madeira Beach through its city clerk to contract with the Pinellas County Supervisor of Elections, providing for publication, authorizing election expenditures, identifying the Pinellas County Canvassing Board as the canvassing board for the March 13, 2018 election, authorizing for a runoff election if necessary, providing for repeal of ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith to the extent of such conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Any discussion from the board? Floor is now open for public comment. Floor is now closed. Do we have a motion? I'm sorry. I didn't see. Sorry. It's open again. You got to raise it high.
Sorry.
I heard every word you said. What does it mean? Translate that, please.
Yes, sir, I will. Per charter, even though we know we have an election every year, we have to do an ordinance that just states the procedures and the location of the where we're going to have the election at, the polling place, where you're going to come in and vote. So this is what this is.
Oh, that's simple. Sure took a lot of words to say that on paper. Thank you.
Any more public comment? Public comment is closed. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to pass ordinance 2017-13.
Second.
Will City Clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Doubtford?
Yes.
Next, we have the quarterly investment report and September 2017 financial report. Financial Director Pierce, please.
Commission, per the city's investment policy, an investment report needs to be given to the council on a quarterly basis. And for your review, we gave you the quarterly investment report through September 30th, 2017. And in the narrative, the current holdings did increase from $17,191,694 to, which was reported in June, to $18,240,653. And as I indicated in the June's report, we were waiting for some reimbursements from the BOC project from Swift Mud and Pinellas County, and a lot of those came in. We had a CD with Bank United, which reached the maturity at $393,437.92 and was withdrawn once it matured to pay the Series 2014 debt payment. There are three basic CDs from Seaside Bank on the investment report, and to just give you information on those. Those did mature on October 24th and were withdrawn and went toward paying the Series 2015 debt payment due. So management just recommends the approval of this quarterly report, if there's any questions. Also attached, and would like your approval, we did provide a hard copy and a soft copy of the September, the final September for the fiscal year 2017 financial report, and we provided an electronic copy and a hand copy to you already, but I'd kind of like the approval of that as well, since that was the last report for the fiscal year.
Any discussion from the board?
Were the CDs that matured, were they scheduled to make the payment on the 2015 debt payment?
Yes,
They were
that's how
scheduled.
we planned it. And also,
That's how we, as far as we told you to do, or is that something you decided?
that's how we plan making that payment, yes. And
I'm concerned with your "we." I don't understand who "we" is. Is that me, or is that you?
that's how it was originally set up, to make that payment. It was before actually I got here.
Okay.
And it was
Thank you.
reported to council a couple of times that we had those 3 CDs. Now, there aren't any CDs that we have or any investments in. And as we start to get ad valorem funds in the next month or two, we'll probably put some money aside in this CDs as well, but we'll be checking the comparative rates when we do that.
So we have no CDs right now?
Not at this present time, but like I said, we probably will when you see the next report.
But just with a quick comparison, if I look 2 months prior, the prior month and current month, in the Hancock Operating Fund, it looks like it was just below 40%, and it went above 40%, and it's somewhere at 43%. Why are we bumping our operating fund up so high when it was like 4 or 5 percentage points, when we could put that money in the bank and make money on it? Is there a reason that we're
No,
making our operating fund
that is
bigger?
true, and we're prepared to do that. So I'm glad you mentioned that. We are planning to do that.
Now, or next week?
I would say,
Okay.
and so when you see the next quarterly report, we will have, and we will be checking comparative rates, CD rates from certain institutions before we do that.
Fantastic, thanks.
Any more discussion from the board? Floor is now open for public comment.
Hello? Is it working? Okay, great. Hi, Doug Andrews, 9141st Avenue here in Madeira Beach. Just have a quick question. The fiscal year 2017 financial report is out. I haven't seen it, but Mr. Pierce, can you please let me know what the recreational revenue was for fiscal year 2017?
I don't have that in front of me right now. I wasn't prepared to give a report on that.
I mean, wait a minute, it's the fiscal year 2017 report. What do you mean you don't have it in front of you? I'm sorry, I mean, I got crucified by this commission over every dollar that they said that didn't come into the account. My man Marv Merrill back there crucifies me online. And you, sir, and your little friend next to you wrote a letter to the Beach Beacon questioning my numbers. And you don't have that? I'm going to help you out. It was $469,000, okay? Before I got here, the average rec revenue was $197,000. And I got terminated because somebody didn't like the direction the rec center was going into. Thanks for taping the conversation too there, pal. Class act. And, you know, you guys don't have the numbers?
This is not a time for questions and answers. It's public comment.
But this isn't the fiscal year report. You don't have a fiscal year report. That's what it says. The
Time for
fiscal year-
questions would have been earlier. This is a time for public.
It was on the agenda. I asked the questions now because it's on the agenda. I couldn't have asked it before. Madam Mayor?
It's still a time for public.
Madam Mayor.
comment. I'm telling you what this is, this particular.
So he doesn't have to answer my question, is what you're saying?
Exactly.
Real? Okay, so
You can-
when are we going to discuss this?
You can call them up.
I called him up, he hung up on me the last time because he didn't like my answer. Yeah, he called me up, I'm sorry. Okay. That's it, huh? Okay. Thanks. You guys are helpful.
Yes, sir.
Howdy, y'all. I love these meetings. Nick Newberry, Century 21 Beggins, 311 Boca Drive. First of all, can't believe it's your lack of knowledge. That is just absolutely shocking. But I'm not surprised because he's attempting to pay off a 1.5% interest loan, which anybody that knows anything about money will tell you that's a really bad idea. It's basically a free loan. So for whatever reason, we're paying off a free loan. And I guess my other thing is, I tried to look up the brick and mortar location for our Ralph Brooks here. Where is that at?
Again, this is not a time for asking questions.
Okay, well, I guess my comment is,
You
I
can
find
ask
it
questions,
strange
but we're-
that our city attorney doesn't have brick and mortar location, and I also find it odd that our finance director doesn't know that paying off a free loan is a bad idea. So those things are shocking to me. And again, I'm 32 years old. I live in town, own my home, own my boat, and I work in town. So I find these things shocking to every degree. I mean, geez, I could do a better job than this guy after I got out of DAC Shack.
Any more public comment? Public comment is now closed. Any more discussion from the board? Do we have a motion to accept the investment report and the September financial report?
I'll make a motion to accept the quarterly investment report and September fiscal year 2017 financial report.
I'll second.
Any comments from city staff or any more comments from the board? Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Oakley,
Yes.
Mayor Douthat, Vice Mayor Douthat.
Yes.
Mayor Black,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges,
Yes.
Commissioner Lister.
Yes.
All right, next we have a discussion about the December 26th, 2017 regular workshop meeting, which is the day after Christmas. Do we want to keep it?
That's
Just
a big no.
asking. Do we want to just postpone it a week?
It'd be next week. I mean,
Either
next
do it
week
next
before
week or the
Christmas.
first week in January.
First week in January, the 2nd?
No, that's after New Year's.
Whoa, that's rough too.
Let's just do it next week, next Tuesday.
That would be okay.
Next Tuesday. I'm okay.
All right, we have a consensus for
Tuesday
next
work for you?
Tuesday?
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Okay.
What's the date?
19th. Page 12, that'd be the 19th.
Okay. And next we have the strategic planning report, November 13, 2017.
Do we have to vote on that, or?
No, I don't believe so.
It's information.
It's just informational. Marilyn Crotty, the director of Florida Institute of Government at the University of Central Florida, facilitated a strategic planning/goal-setting workshop for us on November 13th of this year with the Board of Commissioners and the city staff on behalf of the Florida Institute of Government at the University of South Florida. Attached in our packets with the strategic plan report is a list of the identified goals and objectives that were identified in the November 13th meeting. At a future BOC meeting, workshop meeting, the commission will select priorities from among the 24 objectives and select the 8 objectives that we think are the most significant for the city to address in the next few years. The city clerk will then forward that to Ms. Crotty, and she will provide an amended strategic planning report to the city. Any discussion on that? Okay. Well, then next we have reports from City Commission?
I have something. At the last special budget meeting, you had accused me of breaking the Sunshine Law, and I just wanted to confirm a few things with you. I sent an email to Erica, who at that time was our interim city attorney. And the email I sent her said, this past Tuesday, we had a special budget meeting. At the beginning of the meeting, the mayor made an announcement regarding the current recall, stating that Terry and I had signed the petition for the recall, and since we had violated the Sunshine Law in the past, we needed to reconsider forfeiting our seat as city commissioners. I was honestly caught off guard. I did sign the petition. As a registered voter resident here, this was my choice. As far as violating the Sunshine Law, as per our conversation once before, the result was a declaration judgment action. And if I remember correctly, this meant that a violation did exist, but I, as an individual, was not charged. This was my understanding. I never received any notification of a charge, and I am confused as to why I would need to forfeit my seat. I went on to tell her, I know that your time with us is coming to an end, which I'm sorry to see, but understand. And I realize you spent time explaining this to me before, but I'm very upset over this, and I don't know who else to turn to. Erica did respond to me, and I just want to let you know, Ms. Heim? Okay. She apologized for not returning my email sooner, but she did say I was correct. There were no charges found against me as an individual and no charges against me personally. I did not violate any law. So I just wanted to let you know, okay? Thank you.
All I can say is, if that is true, I apologize. Any more reports from the commission? City Attorney?
Not at this time.
City Manager?
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a couple of short things. First off, Merry Christmas to the commission and to our residents. And I believe today is your birthday, is that correct?
Yes.
So happy birthday, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
There's been some conversation tonight about communication within the city. You'll notice that Miranda's back in the back. She is doing an outstanding job for us, trying to get some accurate information out there. She's here tonight. She's going to be doing an agenda synopsis. It takes time for the clerk's office to get all that information tabulated up. So she's going to put out something in brief, hopefully after every BOC meeting and every workshop, just giving some accurate information out there to the general public. Miranda's doing a great job trying to get some things cleared up for us, because there's been some misconceptions out there, and I encourage everyone, if you have questions or comments about city operations, to go to the city website, so you'll get that accurate information out there. I was in a store today, and one of our residents who can't make it out was very, very kind to me today, and I promised that I would tell her hello and just give her a wave out there to the city. So thank you, Madam Mayor. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. City Clerk?
I'm using the new minute software tonight.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
going to help with generating the minutes a lot faster. And also, hopefully by January the 9th, we'll be using our new agenda management software, which is going to be a whole lot better, and I think that everybody will agree as they're using it.
Well, we'll look forward to that.
Madam Clerk, can you also give us an update on the back documentation that we need to get transcribed for the past minutes?
Yes, yes. There were quite a few sets of minutes that were not done last year and part of this year, 2016, and part of 2017. So, of course, there's a new city clerk coming in and trying to look at minutes and catching up on what the city's history is. Your minutes is the best source for that. And so I didn't have all those minutes, and so we had to outsource it to get those transcribed as soon as possible. So that is almost complete.
That's excellent. All right. Anything else?
That's it for me.
I'd like to just say one thing, Matt.
Yes.
I'd like to wish everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and be very safe during this time. Thank you.
This meeting is adjourned at 7:51.